Hello to everyone. A very warm welcome to Digital Tech Media's Real Stories of Women in Tech 2026 virtual event powered by none other than Rubrik. It has been 5 incredible years since Digital Tech Media began celebrating women through our annual Women Specially magazine and dedicated leadership forums. And over the years, we have shared some powerful journeys, bold ideas, and breakthrough moments. But today, it is truly, one of the special days for us because for the first time, we are bringing together a virtual women leadership event alongside the launch of our 2026 edition, Real Stories of Women, presented by Rubrik. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just not a celebration, it is a conversation about real experiences, real risks, and real leadership. So we are all very, very excited over here. So Triveni will share insights on resilience, security, and the future of data leadership. And it's going to be a 10 to 15 minutes session. So Triveni, all yours.
Hey, thank you so much, Pooja. And I mean, so many stalwarts in this room here virtually, but I'm amazed to see so many women leaders all in one room. Thank you, Pooja, for having me. Uh, Again, warm welcome to everyone present in this room. When the team actually came up to me, like Christine came up to me saying that you have to talk about real stories of women in tech, and then cover about AI transformation, cover about cyber resilience. I was really scratching my brain saying that so many topics to be, covered in 10 minutes. Is that really enough? And today morning, when I was actually trying to put together my thoughts, I thought, instead of talking about, I mean, obviously, I wanted to start off by pivoting it a little and talk about the word real, right? Because that really stood out for me. And I heard Pooja talk about real and real. So I think we'll start with that. Now, I think the real story of women in tech is not a very glamorous one. And I'm sure everybody in this room will agree to it that life in tech has not been a very rosy one, right? It's not like the ones that are highlighted in reels, breaking glass ceilings and all of that, right? It's more stormy. I mean, personally, I felt it's long days, it's tough rooms, it's rooms filled with men, right? And it's also always about women wanting to prove themselves every day quietly. And sometimes it's also about holding our ground when the only woman voice in some deep discussion, whether it is tech or strategic, right? Now, I have been in this industry for, I think, almost 3 decades now. And I've been working with large enterprise banks, predominantly banks, financial institutes, and global organizations have been my forte. And I've been working with these people for many years. Over the last few years on cyber resilience, right? Because that's the buzzword every organization is talking about. And if there's one thing that I think I have learned over so many years, it's that cyber resilience is not just about technology, but I think it's about building trust. Because um, when an organization gets impacted, right, you hear about ransomware, you hear about cyber impacts every now and then, almost every day nowadays. It's not just that data is locked, leaked, or lost, right? It's more about livelihoods that is lost. It's customer confidence. Imagine when you're putting all your money in a bank, all your data in a bank is available in a bank, and that bank is breached. There is a lot of customer confidence that is lost. There is brand equity which is lost, which these organizations have built over decades. And honestly, I have been in such rooms, right? It's chaotic when something like this happens. There is chaos everywhere. CIO, who has always been who's been looked upon as a tech person, suddenly takes a backseat. And in between all of this chaos, if you look at it, uh, the question then shifts from, did we put in the right tools to prevent this attack to happen? From to now, people talk about how do we recover? How do we come back faster? How do we bounce back and be resilient, right? So the shift now is then where resilience actually becomes really, very, very relevant. Now, imagine now, I mean, we've been talking about all of these ransomwares. the next layer on top of that is now AI. Everywhere the buzzword about AI is going on, right? Everybody's talking about how we can deploy AI in the organization. And honestly, I think AI is not experimental anymore. I mean, all the organizations that I am, all the large organizations, be it financial institute, banks, everybody's talking AI, right? So it's embedded in every organization. And we're using it every day, right? I use AI almost every day, right? Trying to understand organizations, what is their priorities and all of that. So AI is today written in every organization. It writes codes, it detects anomalies, it predicts threats. And interestingly, I'm sure it's also going to be creating threats, right? So we are now living in a world where cyber attacks can be AI powered. It is over and above all of this, there is another layer which none of us can ignore, and that is the data. I mean, people have been saying from a lot of years saying that data is the new oil, right? But and that is true because future is data, and AI doesn't exist alone. It cannot exist in isolation because AI thrives on data. The more data it gets, the more it becomes intelligent, so-called, right? And cyber criminals are absolutely targeting these data. Uh, Pre-COVID, I would say, pre-COVID, data was probably sitting in data center, right? But now that's not what it is. Data is fragmented. It is spread across, be it cloud, be it on-prem, SaaS, endpoints, everywhere, right? It's living and it's multiplying. It's multiplying in such a fast pace that when there is an impact now, organizations cannot just say, do we have data? They have to necessarily know that, do we have visibility to the data that we have? Do we know where that data lives? Do we know who has got access to that data and who is doing what with that data, right? How are we protecting it? And most importantly, is can we recover it instantly if something goes wrong? Because today we live in a world where we are in an assume breed state. We cannot, no organization today can say that, I have hundreds of tools in my production, I am safe, right? You have to be assuming that when I am breached, what does it take for me to recover instantly, right? And AI is accelerating that explosion, which means resilience is no longer an optional. It is just so foundational. So in my mind, I think if AI is the brain, I think data is the heartbeat, and I would say resilience is the immune system of all of it. And that's why when now talk about, I mean, so much I've spoken about cyber resilience. I mean, because I come from Rubrik, I'm so passionate about this topic, so I can go on and on. But let me just pivot a little to women because this room is full of women. And 3 decades of my experience, and what I've found something very interesting is during all of these high-stake conversations that happen around AI, around cyber risk and all of it, women are still underrepresented, right? I mean, while this room is full of women here, I still feel there is a lot that when we are underrepresented, not because we lack capability, but I think historically, it has always been that deep tech discussions, leadership discussions are not really welcoming because it's been more men-led, I would say, right? Because even if I have to go 20, 25 years, which is early in my career, and I would walk into meetings where I'm the only woman in the room. In fact, even today, there are so many meetings when I'm the only woman in the room, right? Which means I have to be over-prepared. Honestly, I believe women bring that kind of a pragmatic empathy, which men today think that we are being soft because some of the questions that we ask is predominantly like, how does it impact the customer, right? Is this ethical? We go more on those, but I feel that is not actually being soft, but I think it's more about that in my mind. I think from an AI transformation perspective, that balance is absolutely required. And I don't know, maybe this room here, if they think anything different, but I just feel that, women bring that balance when they take these discussions. So here's the uncomfortable truth, right? Most organizations, or I would say all organizations today, are rushing into AI. Like every CIO, every CISO that I'm talking about, they're talking about AI. We need to understand what is that data protection and how does an organization really build a recovery strategy than a prevention strategy, right? Because this decade is going to be absolutely belonging to leaders who really understand innovation and consequences, because uh, AI cannot be built by speed alone. And I think it has to be built with judgment. It has to be built with a lot of trust. And yeah, so uh, we I think we have to lead this with example by giving women ownership, right? It's not just about giving women a seat on the table. It's not about that. We need to ensure that women are leading transformation programs. They are influencing some of the blueprints of the organization, because resilience means diverse thinking. And I think what best than women who can do so many things. I mean, we juggle so many, understand.
Absolutely, absolutely, Triveni. Thank you so much. I think you've completely summed it up really, really nicely. But since we're running, short of time, I'll have to,
Sure.
uh,
Like I said, this is so passionate to me. I can go on and
absolutely.
on,
I
but
think you
thank
touched
you.
all the key points on cyber resilience, AI, and the key role of women leadership. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to formally welcome our moderator for today's discussion, who is none other than Mr. Shami Kapoor, who is the Senior Vice President and Head Operations and Health Claims at Magma General Insurance. Shami brings over 20 years of distinguished experience in the insurance industry, and he specializes in operational excellence, digital transformation, and customer-centric innovation. So, Shami, over to you.
Thank you. And then I'll be able to see all the beautiful ladies who are there with me on the screen, and I can start the conversation. Well, I think Triveni, thank you so much. It was a very powerful message from you. एक बात तो मैं सीख गया घर जाके, मुझे मेरे घर वालों से मतलब बीवी से, माँ से, बच्ची से, बहन से, सबसे मुझे आज से घबराना चाहिए. मैं जरूर घबराऊंगा, ये वादा है आपसे. So I take that lesson from you, right, on the lighter side. But before I start, I think to make this conversation more engaging, there is one simple shari I always keep saying, and I want to share this with the group who is present with me. कुछ हम कहें तो आप सुनो, कुछ आप कहें तो हम सुने. इन्हीं बातों से जो है ये शाम का समा बने. So if I have to make this entire session lovely, I would want all the participants to please, participate well, engage well, share your thoughts, so that we are able to learn a lot together. Now, with that, I start, and Triveni, I pick up the point which you have brought out. Actually, my entire page has got filled in with your thoughts. I'm just going to pick out thoughts which you have left to me. Do anything specifically in terms of evolving tech. Tech is evolving, so you need to be cautious of what you want to do. Now, if I keep that thing in mind, something, Shweta Srivastava, if I have to ask you, that one myth as tech leaders, if you have to start breaking off or start thinking differently, I'll put it in a more positive manner. You have to start thinking differently to use tech. What would be your advice to us?
Thank you so much for the question, Shami. But I'll just say 30 seconds to thank TTM, first of all, for arranging this year on year. We were discussing backstage, that it's been sixth year with DTM, and thankfully they've not chucked me out of the gang yet. To you, Shammi, to welcome you. In the background, the moment Pooja said Shammi Kapoor, there was a song running in my background. It was Yahoo. So I think that will continue. Coming to your question, one myth, of course, that has been there, and I think it still continues in a lot of organizations, is that cybersecurity is IT's issue. It's not at all, and never has been an IT issue. But for some reason, it is still considered that way, and that should be broken sooner than later.
Wonderful. Now, if we have to change our thought processes of thinking, and then maybe Radhika ji, if I can ask you, Radhika N, right? Yeah. So if I can ask you that, when you talk about something, then you making use of the right tools to ensure that whatever strategy or whatever way path you want to plan in terms of using tech at your respective areas, whether you want to secure it from a cyber risk point of view, whether you want to evolve anything in terms of bringing efficiencies. Now, if you have to keep that in your mind, then definitely what are the two factors which you will keep in your mind whenever you want to play this out?
Yeah. Thank you for the question. And actually, I think the technology is evolving very quickly. We are using so many tools, but when it comes to the trust in the technology, it still grows at a human pace. We can incorporate more technologies. What is the adaptability? Everything is there. But what is the governance we are going to bring? What is the steps to identify if, for example, I come from an industrial background. So in that, we have different technologies we are using in our power plants, how we will analyze the pattern, how quickly we can analyze the threats, how we can address all these things are there. But when it comes to the resilience part, there are two different things. When it comes to your cyber security, it is built on three things like confidentiality, integrity, and availability. But these chances, it changes from a different performer. Like if it is a local IT, it comes AA as the first part. When it is come to your OT environment, the availability takes the precedence. So based on that, we have to make governance in such a way that according to the situations, the trust has to be built on, and we have to use the technologies in such a way we are more responsible towards that what we are going to use. It's not only with the cyber security team, actually it comes from the organization as well. Like it's not like something a tool like how we are saying it's a jargon or it's some this thing that it's FOMO. Like we have to bring in all the technologies. Not what suits to our organization. What is the complexity in implementing those tools in our environment? Because each organization will have a different environment, like complex, like maybe on-prem or they may be on cloud, and they will be having legacy systems. For all these things, when we go with AI or with the tools, it differs from system to system. The complexity we have is that thing which is more concerned, and with the right governance, we have to have the right approach for this one.
Lovely. I think governance has always been one of my favorite area. And recently I was in a session with Shivaji. She's not there in the call right now with us, but with Shiba in Dubai, we were having the similar conversation about ethical AI, and that's where the governance piece, Radhika ji, was something which always rests with me, because if you're able to govern it well, if your frameworks are very defined, your ownership was very clearly articulated and called out, you know what is getting used and how it is getting used. But while we do this, and we allow systems to take decision, if I have to come back to Kavita, and Kavita, your view, something I want to know from you is it's very easy for us to say that today a lot of decisions are happening with the help of various platforms and AI tools. But something which every one of us are scared today is about, can we really trust it? Because sometimes those informations are scary, sometimes they are not right, or we overthink about them and we believe that this is the truth. So what would be your advice when, as an organization, you evolve and you want to trust a lot of decisions on these tools, which is built by them?
Okay. First and foremost, thanks to DTM and Shami Kapoor for taking time today for arranging this event.
Thank you.
And definitely, women I compare with the sky, because the sky is the limit, and shouldn't be the limit, and the mind is what I want to bring out first, because women are infinity, the way they handle things and the way they can take up things, because the technology changes and it has its own limitations. But the human mind, I wouldn't just narrow it down to women, the men or women, the mind is incredible, and it has lots of potential for us to override what is happening today's environment. When you take AI, how much of our people debate that it can do things in fraction of seconds, and it is very good in helping taking decisions or automation or anything, but it is not as intelligent as human intelligence always supersedes any artificial intelligence. And if there has to be a decision taken, I would definitely acknowledge the technology that is growing day by day is definitely created as a tool. Like how you have, whenever you build a house or something, there are so many of the facilities that you create for yourself, so many facilitations to help you to make the place better and to protect your area. Similarly, the technology that is growing is for our own protection and to help us grow, and never to override us or to replace us by any
Perfect.
chance. That I
Absolutely.
would definitely say.
Lovely. I think very few people really are able to understand that it's not something we have to be scared about what is getting built through the help of tech. AI definitely is something which assist us and it's not there to govern us. Now, if I have to just restrict the entire group with me on AI, and Pooja Singh, if I have to really ask you that, how do you believe the relevance of AI today in your current work space?
Yeah, so first of all, I feel quite happy and I feel it's a prestige to join such a group with such wonderful women. And in total, I have spent around 2 decades in the AI industry. And now with Gen AI, now there is a boom and everybody is talking about it, especially with the launch of ChatGPT. Now, in my perspective, through AI, there are multiple set of problem statement that is currently being solved, and a lot is going to happen in future. Um, I believe there is a lot of buzz and there's a lot of fear around AI. However, it all depends upon the overall architecture of the tool that we are creating. If we have right guardrail, if there is explainability of those tools available, if we know that the data is not biased on which we are creating our tool,
Absolutely perfect.
and in nutshell, the wave is already here. If you are not adopting if you are losing something, because if we compare two organization, whether it is a financial institute or a manufacturing firm, if we have one place where the models are trained on AI, or models are trained on their internal data, and another system where they are kind of in their comfort zone, the moment the model will be matured in organization A, they will have the edge to take quicker, faster decision, and organization B will be lacking. However, being said, I also believe the governance and architecture plays a very crucial role because we have deployed multiple AI solutions currently. But if the guardrails are not in place, it leads to hallucination, it leads to data leakage, it leads to compliance related issue, and it leads to cyber related problems. So having the thorough knowledge of the topic, having the expert in your organization, whosoever designing and developing the solution is very, very crucial.
Thank you so much, Poojaji. And I think those two words of yours of having the right guardrails, I think that's very precise because today AI is getting used in every industry and in every function. And that brings out to me to the financial industry, जहाँ बहुत डर लगता है कई बार, जब भी लगता है कि हम इंसान से बात कर रहे हैं, बॉट से बात कर रहे हैं, हमारे फाइनेंशियल ट्रांजैक्शन सेफ है कि नहीं. With that, Abhita, you are very strong from the banking side, and I have seen personally also, I know you very well, or your passion towards finance, towards banking sector. What are your views? How is AI really taking space or actually assisting or disrupting or making some sense in the banking industry?
Yeah, thanks so much, Rami. Yeah, of course, finance is something which I'm really, really passionate about. I've spent close to 17 years in the industry. So yes, see, AI is no more a choice for any industry, and so is with the financial industry. And you would appreciate the fact that financial industry, one, it is very regulated, and the kind of risk they have, right? So one is the business model risk, which is a credit risk, which governs all the financial institution. On top of it, we have liquidity risk, we have interest rate risk, and market risk, all those type of risks. Now, when it comes to risk assessment, it is very, very important to assess right kind of data, and the variety of data we assess to understand as to what can be the likely impact. It is huge, humongous. So definitely from that perspective, AI is helping a lot to all the financial institutions and banking, especially in the current scenario when the situation is so dynamic. So 2025, I call it a black swan year, because all the unprecedented events have taken place, whether it is about tariff, whether it is about geopolitical tension, whether it is about even the INR USD exchange rate, right? So in the start of the 2025, when the rupee was moving southwards, just after a span of 2 3 months only, it has again started moving in the opposite direction altogether, right? So it was very, very difficult for even the seasoned economists to assess as to which direction the rupee will move. Forget about the levels, right? So with so much of uncertainty and all those black swan events, and now with this Iran-Israel war, we really don't know which way the industry will move, Yeah, how will the impact on the borrowers be, right? How the commodity prices will move. So that brings me to a point that AI is definitely a very, very effective tool which is being used by the banking space, yeah, bankers, yeah, to assess not only the impact of the so-called normal factors, but the black swan factors also. Yeah, and then to create that kind of a model and to understand as to in the in future where can we head and what all strategies we need to take to ensure that we don't end into any sort of crisis. Because in the latest past only, as latest as 2024, we have Silicon Valley Bank going for a crisis. Such a big bank, 16th largest bank in the US, went for a toss, right? So definitely banks and FIs are very, very cautious in this dynamic and uncertain event. And then, of course, they are using AI effectively to assess their risk and accordingly strategize. And of course, from the customer experience point of view, definitely we are trying to, improve and bringing the efficiency so that customers are also at ease. Thank you.
Great. If I have to ask, jump to both the Mitalis, we have got Mitali Biswas and Mitali Sharma. Now the question is different. If you have to really warn in a boardroom about taking decisions of using AI in decision making, then what would be the philosophy you would want to adopt there?
Okay. So if I have to go in the boardroom, and I have to ask about AI, so for me, AI is just another technology, right? When I come to the boardroom, like some time back, we were talking about DLP. A little while back, we were talking about, having XDR, EDRs, all those things. So it all boils down to doing the risk assessment for the organization, like looking at the complete landscape, threat landscape, looking at the overall risk appetite for the organization, looking at where all the risk is there, whether really you need it or not. Like AI, you cannot live without it, so definitely you need it. But how much is too much? Like how much do you need it? Do you really want to just have so many boxes in your organization and just have another layer on top of it, or you really want to have AI in a way that it really enhances the overall delivery posture? It also enhances the overall risk posture for the organization. It enhances the efficiency. It brings up the compliance posture rather than bringing it all down. So it all depends on how you want to implement it. So it will start with the risk assessment of the organization, taking down what kind of ROI it is bringing. What are the controls that would be required to ensure that AI is used right in the organizations. Like a lot of time people talk about AI. We have Chat GPT, we have Copilot, we have this, we have that. But do we really know if that is required in the organization? What is the use? I mean, to what extent it is being used in the organization? Do we have an acceptable use policy which the people understand that, they themselves, like Shweta also mentioned, that it is no longer IT's responsibility. So does the leadership, does your organization, does every employee of the organization feel themselves as the custodian of that information security? And do they really feel that when they are using AI, are they using it responsibly, or they're just using it for the sake of using AI and just put the data there? I think that's very important when you take it to board. What are the risks that you are carrying with it, how you're mitigating it, whether the controls that you are implementing, they would help in bringing down the risk, or they are just a good to have kind of thing. Good to have and must have, that's something which you will have to separate out. So I think that will be my take when it comes to implementing AI or any other tool within the organization. And before we end with this question, I would like to thank the DTM team for organizing this event, for bringing us all together, and every year for bringing in something innovative for us to come together and think what is there in store for us.
Lovely. Keen to hear from Mitali Biswas also, her views on this.
So I think if I go to the board, probably there would also be a business angle to it. Right now, what I find in most of the organization is just because everybody is doing AI, chalo AI karte hain. People are not clear why I want to do it. Whether it makes sense for my organization, one. And number two, is my organization ready for it? I mean, a foundation has to be very strong before you implement AI on top of it. So just because everybody is doing it and I want to be relevant in the market and let's do AI, I think that's probably a question to be asked to the business leaders whether they are ready. And whether, where is it that you want? Because there has to be ROI also. AI is not something very cheap, right? There is a cost associated with it. And I think till POC, it is okay. When you want to take it to production is when people start thinking, how do I scale it up? There is so much of cost. So instead of thinking at that point, I think it has to be clear right from the beginning. Why am I doing it? Do I get the ROI? And am I ready for it as an organization?
Lovely. I think enhancement, ensuring for what are we doing, and rather than just seeing that the world is doing it, we will have to do. And at the end, what matters is a proper business use case which gives results in the right direction to the organization. Because at the end of the day, when you use technology, you expect the returns to come back, and it takes time. AI definitely takes time to give you returns. It's not a matter of 3, 6, 1 year where you can find this is happening. Thank you so much for your input. I think Saloni ji is back, and if I have to just go back to my question and ask Saloni ji that while this AI becomes so prominent everywhere, what would be two things if you have to caution uh, from a leadership point of view, and if any leadership wants to solve a problem thinking about using technology as a platform, what should be the right modus operandi on that?
So thanks, Shami, for asking this question, and thanks to Anjali and DTM team for having me in this session. So I would say the AI, what are two things which is we leveraging out of AI? In our organization, we have made AI is a culture. Okay. When I say AI is a culture, we talk about a lot that we need to use AI, but are we really using it? And what is the ROI if you are using it AI? So that's where I would say we have given co-pilot licenses to all our employees to make use of the AI. How can we leverage AI? So it increased our productivity a lot. Okay, in the organization we work with a lot of customers. So the kind of discussion happened, or people write a mail, they write the RFPs, the legal notices, and lot many things. Okay, so AI, they are using AI a lot in their daily day-to-day affair. If I give you a very simple example about the meetings, okay, earlier after every meeting, people used to write the MOM and send it to everyone. Now we just turn on the Copilot and the MOM is there. Okay, that is
Absolutely.
the simplest case I can talk about. Then agentic AI. Okay, so because we have these licenses, we started using agents. I give you a very simple example of we created a privacy agent. Okay, now people are confused what need to be considered as PII, SPI. Should I send this data to whom? External customer, third party, inside. Lot of questions people have in their mind. Okay, who to ask these questions? They go to the privacy AI agent and ask this question, and they will get the answer. So we create this kind of agentic AI. So this is easing a lot of work, and people are using AI everywhere. So these are two simple cases I can talk about AI. And I missed.
So no, I think you have covered it wonderfully, ma'am. The only last thing which I wanted to understand is if leadership has to put that shoes in, and I think you actually called it out why well. It has to become a culture. With culture, it also has to become something which is relevant to what is being done either within the organization for the customer or at a for product side. I think thank you so much, for sharing your thoughts on it. So if I have to go to
Thank
Neeta
you.
Malik, and my question for her would be is if AI is a threat, what do you believe the threat of AI is? Is it the loss of data? Will it be misused? Or AI is not to be scared about?
Well, I'll be very honest. There are two things I really wanted to talk about, and one is, of course, starting with the cyber aspect of it, because we have a lot of cybersecurity leaders here, so I'll just kind of start focusing a little bit on that aspect, right? One, the AI is here to enable you. It's not your silver bullet, but it's here to enable you. And when we talk about cybersecurity, it's not just a technology problem. It also involves judgment, right? So you're not saying that, hey, AI is here, so I'm safe, or AI is here, so I can replace all my people. That's not going to happen, right? You can automate, you can excel your speed, you can scale, you can do pattern recognitions, but can AI understand the context, the intent, or the nuance? Is this something that you should be looking at, right? Because AI can do what, pattern, repeated tasks, some bit of intelligence, that's definitely there. It speeds up your task completely, but not something that I should be really threatened about because, I am kind of, because I also, take care of one of the vital areas called crisis management. So for me, I think human intuition loop is equally important because where your algorithms fail, it's the humans who are going to give you the guidance. Because humans can give you the contextual awareness, they can, kind of manage the chaos, which AI or no other system is going to manage it for you. It will give you the impact to your business. AI can tell you, yes, there is a situation. Yes, here is the problem. Here is the potential solution. But at the end of the day, you still have to fall within what you call the guardrails for automation.
Absolutely.
So that's where I am a big fan of what we call the human in the loop models, because at the end of the day, with the technology and AI, you still have the human in the loop who takes the right decision. So you don't have to be worried about AI. It's basically here to enable you to speed up your tasks, something that you may be taking for with multiple people and multiple, um, I would say, instead of getting through those thousands of pages of logs, it's something that's giving you all the decisions. But yes, at the end of the day, you are the decision maker. So I think it's all about adopting it the right way and kind of leveraging the strengths.
Lovely. I think leveraging the strength is the right approach. Here I go back to Pooja. Pooja, I think it's time for us for the surprise which we have kept for the entire group who is there. So over to you, Pooja.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Shami. That was like really an insightful discussion. And before we move into our, icebreaker round, it's time to unveil something very close to our hearts. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the launch of our e-magazine. Please join us in celebrating the release of our 2026 special edition, Real Stories of Women in Tech, proudly presented by Rubrik. Can we just have that, on our screens? All right, so that's the first look of our very special Women Unscripted 2026 Real Stories of Women powered by Rubrik. Thank you so much, Anjali and team, for that. With that, we'll move on to our icebreaker round. Please remember there are 3 special giveaways for the top 3 best answers, and they'll be presented by the Rubrik and Digital Tech Media team. And the winners of this round will be decided by Team Rubrik. So, Shami, over to you.
Thank you so much. So I rush to both the Poojas who are there on the call. And the question is, AI for future, is it exciting or exhausting?
Is it me, Pooja?
Exciting. It's exciting.
Who is this question?
I have answered.
Oh, is
Okay.
it like first come first?
Yes.
No, you
See,
carry on.
no. So I think, Pooja, and, so you have answers. So, yeah, Pooja Singh.
Okay, so it's quite exciting because now I can see how the different business processes are actually transforming. And at personal level, we all have used ChatGPT, Claude, etc. But now I can say I have implemented 2, 3 projects in production using Gen AI and see what kind of enhancement and what kind of ROI we are actually generating. And I believe in future we are going to see everything to be bot based instead of SaaS or site based. So it's going to be revolutionary, and I'm really looking forward to it and being part of that journey.
Wonderful. I rush to Deepti and to Sumedha ji. And the question is for our partners who are there with us, lovely partners from Rubrik. If you have to look at Rubrik, how would you look at them? Like a solution provider or a cyber resilience, zero trust data security partner, or someone you can rely for a very strong network support?
Yeah, I will say like someone to rely for strong network support, because you guys are like coordinating with so many leaders and from different different divisions and all those, and always you are getting the first cut out like how is things are going on. So I will always go for the advisor thing.
Good to hear
I
from you.
would,
Sumita ji?
yes, I would take the Rubrik as the trusted partner because as per my platform, I'm building network, taking on from Deepti's point as well, that a trusted network partner, which is very hard to find. Trust takes years to build and seconds to lose. And it is the most invaluable asset that organizations fundamentally need to protect in 2026. No more the systems, no more the identities, more of trust in 2026.
Lovely. I think, Triveni ji, you should have a little bigger smile on your face because three concepts of your trust, judgment, and ethical. People have one of them have chosen you for that. So that's amazing to hear from people. I rush
Thank
to
you.
Dr. Lopa and Gigi, and thing is, if I ask both of you, AI बहुत करना चाहता है. कोई एक काम दे दो उन्हें. क्या दो?
Which is little bit brain fatigue, where chances of human error is high. That I would
Okay.
like to use AI to eliminate that.
Lovely. Yes, ma'am.
I think I would love to give most of the repetitive, human intensive tasks to AI with human in the loop.
That's something unique. I've never heard that, Gigi. That's great. Wonderful. Now I move to Varundeep.
Basically, Sami, we have given the same answer with different term. Brain fatigue is always coming to a repetitive work.
This is what happens when I don't use AI because I go with feelings and I miss the exact words pattern. That's how sometimes human also might do an error. So I'm sorry for that. But if I have to rush to Varundeep Kaur and Sushma Chopra ji, one tech buzzword you want to remove in this financial year if given an opportunity.
I don't want to use it. Okay, it would have been easier if you would have said what I want to use it because it becomes easier. But then,
Anjali never makes my job easy, so you can't expect that from me. So you have to bear with me. I'm so sorry.
No, I think what I want to really remove is the misconceptions about AI, right? Because that's something which is leading what it would do, what it cannot do, and lot of inhibitions or things around it. For me, this is the one which we can bring in with the calibrated trust because with the black box is gone now. It's long back we used to say, hey, some results come in, we don't even know where it comes in from. But now the time is coming with for the explainable AI, where we know X AI is here, we know the AI can bring in contact. So something as a black box is with AI is what I want to take it out from this year.
Lovely. Great, good to hear.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you, Shani, and the team for organizing this conversation. I will say one buzzword, if given an opportunity to remove, I will like to retire the word AI powered because it is everywhere. You see, it is AI powered without having any context to it. So it is, and what leaders in this era does not need more buzzwords. They need like what are the clear outcomes that we can expect from technology. It is more about clarity over the hype that is everywhere. So we should not be using this term AI powered without actually having a context. And this is hiding more than it is actually explaining.
Amazing. So if I have to rush to Divya K and to Rajbir Kaur, and it's going to be a difficult one. If you are sitting on a tech chair, you already are. But if given an opportunity, you are supposed to design the tech once again and the artificial intelligence. What will scare you?
Thank you, Shami. I think the one which scares me the most is the culture with the people, right? So when I say when I have given you AI, probably make use of it for really productive purposes. I am really scared if someone by habit or unintentional things or without a malicious intention or with any malicious intention, the insider threat can also happen because we don't have real control. Some systems fail. So really the employees have to be trained of how to use and how not to use. So just because I have given the access or I've given some AI system, they shouldn't use it for a negative purpose for whatsoever reason, even if they are bribed by somebody else from the other nations or something. So that is the most scariest thing is insider threat, not from the outside. From the outside, I have a lot of things to block, but I'm more scared of the insider threat because I don't know who can compromise with whom for what reason. So that is most scariest, which I can't control.
Absolutely. Rajbirji.
So for me, I think there are two main factors which I would be scared of. First one is the erosion of agency, because even if AI will not become evil as it is mentioned in most of the hype scenarios, it will become too convenient. So, and people will stop using their muscles for decisions. So that is one fear that I have. Second one is opposite to that, because AI does what it does everything based on the data that has been provided to it. So if AI is getting trained on AI generated content, I think that would be a very messy or unpredictable situation. So these are the two things that I would like to mention.
अगला क्वेश्चन और डिफिकल्ट है, वन वर्ड आंसर चाहिए. एंड आकांक्षा, Kirk and Abha Jeswale, you are there. One advice to the new tech people you want to give, just in one word or max 2 words.
Take chance.
Take chance.
Don't
Wonderful.
be scared of the new tech which is coming up.
That's great. Abha?
There's no point going backwards. We have to move forward. So we have to take it.
Lovely. That makes me to go to Radhika ji and Vilona Williams. And for you, it would be, let me create my own. If you have to tell what we were hearing from Rubina, that it's the world where everyone is equal. It's no men, there is no woman. It's about equality. It's about doing the right thing. What one message in one line you would want to share with the entire tech fraternity who is there?
One line, if I say that technology doesn't see who men or women, it see who is the performance, who is the curiosity to learn, adopt, and go with the change.
Okay, adaptability. Vilona Williams, please.
As in one sentence, I don't know, but Shami, it is the most important message is do not differentiate between women and men. Especially, I'm coming from the healthcare industry. There's a lot of bias, and I don't think AI is going to really change that. I wish it would, but the most important message is in tech, please consider us as equals, because we really think in the same way.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone. I think it was great session. Just to conclude, few thoughts from my side, whatever I heard from wonderful, powerful women who are there in this group with me. You have to be decisive. And when you are decisive, you have to be very clear in your thoughts. You have to think large, build large, scale up large. Wonderful words from, Triveni ji about trust, judgment, and being ethical. And at the end, what matters is it's not we getting governed by AI, it's we are going to govern AI. So, wishing everyone a wonderful evening and have a great weekend. Thank you, Anjali and Pooja, for this opportunity to me to host this wonderful session. Over to you, Pooja.
Absolutely, Shami. Thank you so much. We are indeed very grateful to you, for taking out time from your busy schedule and moderating this event. I think it was a truly incredible icebreaker round. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to all the answers, and I can see a lot of answers popping up on the screen as well. So this is going to be a tough one for the Rubrik team, I'm sure. Triveni, you'll have to do some really hard work over here as attendees for this virtual event.
Yeah, thank you, Pooja, and thank you, everybody. Thank you for making time. Thank you again, Digitaltech Media, for organizing this so beautifully. And Shami, you are wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Triveni. Thank you so much.
Also, we'll be announcing the winners of this round shortly. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Until then,
Thanks, everyone. Have a
muskurate
good day.
rahiye.